Thanks for joining me today. My name's Rich Allen, your business coach. It's Monday, and I'm here to give you a tip to start you off your week strong. I hope you had a great weekend, got re-energized, and now you're back at your business and ready to roll this week. You know, I was thinking about what to cover today, and I thought back to my last couple of weeks where we've been spending some time with folks, and I think we even talked about this on the last session we had here. We've been talking to folks about putting in place their plan to make 2013 their best year ever. And now's the time. We're in the middle of November. It's if we don't have our thoughts together on what we're going to do for 2013, it's almost going to be where we're going to get too late and the year's going to start off and we're still not going to have a solid crystallized plan in place. Our team's not going to know exactly where we want them to focus their efforts. So now's the time for us to get that done. But as we've been doing that, and as I've been talking to many folks as they're putting together their plans, the one overwhelming thought that I'm getting and the reaction that I'm hearing is, you know, it's not like I have a lot of time on my hands here. I'm awfully busy. I've got a lot of things going on already. It's going to be hard for me to pack more into my tight schedule. And I suspect the same is true for you, just as it is for every other business owner that's out there. No one is sitting around looking for things to do. No one's got a bunch of time on their hands and they're just looking for ways to fill the time. We're all busy. Everybody's up to here with activities. We could fill our day every day with plenty of work and routine activities. So if we're going to make this work, if we're going to really make 2013 an outstanding blowout year for us, we have to start with a fundamental concept of clearing the decks before we get going. And the way to clear the decks is to sit down with a blank sheet of paper and take some time and write down those things that you're going to stop doing that are not necessary for you to do right now, that are going to free up some time for you to get some of the more significant things in on your calendar. So I want to talk about that here for today for a minute, because no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, if you took the time to clear your decks a little bit and clear your calendar of some of the non-essential things that you're doing today, it would give you more energy, create more space, create more opportunity for you to focus on what matters more. So get out a blank sheet of paper for me and just put it down there. And what I want you to do is start to think about these kinds of things. First, I want you to think about those things that you do that you know there's somebody else in your business, another team member in your business, who has the capability of doing that, but you're holding on to it for one reason or another. Whether it's lack of confidence, whether it's because you can do it quicker than somebody else. What are those things that you could do that you could train someone else to do? That just a little bit of time spent in your calendar or a little bit of time spent during the week of teaching somebody the fundamentals of what you need done, could you have somebody else do it? And perhaps they might ultimately do it quicker, cheaper, faster. I'm sure there are several things that fall into that category. I also want you to look at those things, think about what you do during the day, and ask yourself, is everything that I'm doing something that ought to be done by someone who's making $200 an hour or more? In other words, I don't want you working on things that are $15 an hour type work. And you know what those are. You could probably click those off right away. But it's a $15 activity, put it on the sheet of paper. We've got to have somebody else do that for you. If it's a $20 to $25 per hour type of an activity, you could probably generate more revenue for your business if you were focused on something else. Put that down on the list. When it starts getting above that, now you're starting to say, all right, there's some technical expertise required. That may require some training, or it may require some skill set that maybe someone else doesn't have yet. That might be one that you could transition over time, but you may have to keep it for now. But I want you to spend as much of your time on those things that can generate the $100 to $200 per hour type of rates in your business. And everything else ought to be down on your list, and we ought to be looking for ways that we can give that to someone else. And if you're a shop by yourself, if you're a solopreneur, and you don't have the somebody else to go do that, this may be a great opportunity for you to employ a virtual assistant, even on a part-time basis. Have them work for 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, whatever it might take for them to do those $10 and $15 and $20 items per hour jobs so that you don't have to do them. Okay? Those ought to go on your list. You ought to have a list of at least 4 or 5 things now as I'm talking through those 2 categories. Now I want you to do this. I want you to put down on the list the things that you do on a daily and weekly basis, but you really don't like to do them. They're things that they aren't your specialty. They're not what you're particularly good at. You have to do them because they're required in the business. But frankly, you just don't enjoy it. It doesn't give you pleasure to do it. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 things that fall into that category. We all have them. They're must-dos in our business. We don't like to do it, but it's got to get done. It's critical. The customer expects it. It's part of what we'd offered. It's part of our critical delivery of service, but you don't want to do it. Those are things that we may have to put down on our list, and we may not have to do them for the short term, but in the meanwhile, we ought to be looking for talent. Maybe doing some hiring, maybe looking to bring somebody on part-time that have the skills to do those, because if we find somebody that likes doing that, they're going to do it far better than we could. And our energy level is going to go up because we're going to get that off of our plate. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be able to really do even a much better job on what we are doing by ridding ourselves of those things that we just frankly don't enjoy doing. Right? So there you've got 3 categories of things that you need to start looking at how you can get out of. Because I know that it's important for you to create some space so you can do the things that matter more in your business. And you can do that by taking those things that you don't like to do, finding somebody else to do them. Those things that are low value items, put those on the list. Find those things that you know somebody else in your business has the capability of doing, but you're still doing, you're holding on to them for some reason. It's time, this is the year, to give that away. Delegate that to somebody else. You should have a list of 5 to 10 things that you can work your way over this next week to gift to somebody on your team. And let me assure you this, if you think your team is fully consumed, if they're totally tied up, they're 100% utilized, let me suggest to you that when you go and ask someone on your team to help you out and do these things, they're going to feel good about you asking. They're going to feel good about you giving it to them. I find that most business owners are doing things others in the business are saying, I don't know why he or she doesn't give that to me. I'd be glad to do it, but they just won't give it up. Make them a happy team member this week. Give them the things that you should not be doing so that you can turn around and put your time to focus on those things that'll help drive revenue, drive sales, drive strategy, drive direction in your business. It's going to be a huge game changer for you. There's my tip of the week for you this week. It's closing in on the end of the year. We've got to create that plan for next year. We've got to get it in place so that everybody knows exactly what we're going to do. And in order for you to do that, You've got to make some room, create some space for you to get the job done. It's on you this time of year to lay out the plan for next year so that everybody knows here's where we're going, here's what we're going to accomplish, here are the goals we're going to attain for this next year. It's a critical time of the year. Hopefully that'll help you get a little bit of headroom to be able to do that. If you've got questions, if you're challenged with something about that, if you just don't know how to make that happen, drop me a line, rich@tourtoprofit.com. I'd be glad to connect with you on it anytime. I'll give you a couple other ideas, or I'll work with you directly to help make that happen for you. Hope that's been helpful for you. My name's Rich Allen, your business coach. Thanks for being with me today on this week's weekly tip. I'll look forward to chatting with you again next Monday, right here, same channel. Come join me. If you missed this session, I'll record it. You can check it out on my online profile. Talk with you soon. Have a great day. Ride hard this week.